for people that cannot be here, and we have two that will lead the discussion here. We have Robin Jackson from Jackson, Mississippi. She serves as the Director of Policy Advocacy and Movement Building for the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable. She's passionate about advocacy work, leadership development, particularly amongst Black women and children in the state of Mississippi. Her expertise in policy and organizing adds a powerful and community-centered perspective for tonight's forum. Robin. We have John Anderson of Greenville, Mississippi. He's the publisher of Delta Democratic Times, where he brings journalist integrity and a deep understanding of local issues to the forefront. With years of experience in media and community storytelling, he offers a valuable lens into policy impacts that basically affect our people every day. John, he also works on music. And lastly but not least, we have Drew Newton. Also based in Greenville, he's the CEO of Drew Newton Incorporation and has a strong background in civic leadership and public service. His past roles include President of the Greenville School Board, Vice Chairman of Washington County Economic Alliance, and Chairman of the Greenville Holistic Preservation Commission. His long-standing commitment to community development and perseverance brings a thoughtful, forward-looking voice to our conversation. As you can see, we have a really diverse group here. Drew, I would ask that you all please silence your phone. We don't mind you streaming, but we do have two different live streams here. We have Enterprise Toxin as well as Mario Robinson. It'll be streamed live. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to the moderators. Let's have fun and remember that this is a safe space and we want to be respectful of everybody's responses. Thank you.
Good evening. Before we get started into our first round of questions, we would like to give each of the candidates an opportunity to introduce yourself. We ask that you please keep introductions to 2 minutes. We can start with you, Mr. Hollis Myrick.
Giving honor to God, who's head of my life, I would like to thank everybody that put this on. I would like to thank everyone that came out. Can anybody hear me?
It's on. Just put your mouth and speak.
Okay. All right, how about now? Yeah. That's it? Okay, good. Giving honor to God, I would like to thank everybody that put this on. I would like to thank everybody that came out. My name is Hollis Myrick, and of course, I'm one of the candidates that's running for mayor. We all here for the same thing because we have a deeply rooted situation in our city that we want to make sure that we can get a hold of. And that is the safety, that is opportunity and growth. That's why I'm here. I want to be the change, and I wanted to speak and be all the concerns that you have. I want to be able to answer all of your questions. I want to be able to tell you my platform, how serious I am about this title of what it is that I'm trying to serve for the people. And I hope you give me an opportunity. Thank you.
Mayor King Featherstone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mayor Ken Featherstone. So glad to be here. I am the mayor of the city of Indianola. Just want to thank everybody for this invite. 4 years ago, the last election cycle, things were somewhat different. So we were able to just roll with the differences that are here today. Just want to thank Enterprise Toscan, Indianola, Main Street Chamber, GAP as well. All of our facilitators that are here, thank y'all so much for putting this on. I was raised to finish what I've started. In the last 4 years, we've got a lot done. We've got seed in the ground, things that we've done here in the city of Indianola. It requires us to keep going. Those seeds will produce a bountiful harvest. A lot of things you can't get in 4 years in a 4-year term. and it requires continuity. It requires additional time. So I am asking for your support to re-elect Ken Featherstone, Mayor of City of Indianola. Thank you.
Mrs. Steve Rosenthal.
Thank you. Good evening. Well, I have a list of all the things I've completed, and I thought, well, I'd rather talk about what I think we should get done. I want to quote someone that y'all all have heard, and the saying is, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, we've listened to so many different meetings. I'm sure y'all have watched them on the internet and stuff, and the chaos that's gone on in the meetings. Well, during my terms, we got things done. We made actions happen. And so I'm asking you tonight to consider me to be reelected as mayor here in Indianola. You know, during my terms, we were able to get 27 streets repaired or resurfaced. We brought many, many jobs here through Love's, the Flowers Bakery and Distribution Center, Burger King, and just most recently Jack's. All of those I went directly to and asked them to look at Indianola. I didn't wait for them to come. So I'm a man of action. We need a sense of urgency to get things done, and that's the way I work. I don't sit around and wait. I make it happen. So I'm asking all of you to consider and look back over the time that I was here and got things done. Back before COVID, our police department was 80% fully staffed. Haven't seen that in years. We had good things going. I want to bring those things back to Indianola. So again, for a third time, I'm going to ask you, please vote for me come October the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for those introductions. As the agenda reads, we will now move into round one of our conversation and also our series of questions. For round one, our specifics will be around leadership and vision. These questions will come around transparency and trust, residents' voice, and also the vision that you have for the city. With our first question, we would like to pose that many residents feel that city leadership does not listen to everyday concerns. Thinking of your particular plan, what specific steps will you take to restore trust and accountability in the city government? And we can start with you, Mr. Mayor.
You know, that's a great question. I think transparency is most definitely what's needed as we talk about the leadership. It takes more than a leader to go and tackle the challenges and face the things that we're trying to face here in the city. So what I'm saying is, in being a leader, it starts with engaging with the community, showing the youth what a better tomorrow is, because we have a real serious youth problem. And that's why I want to engage with the community. It takes all of us to come together to resolve this problem. Thank you.
If you would
our citizens was mauled by pit bulls. There was an outcry in terms of what are we going to do about stray dogs around our neighborhood. We again set up a hotline, the stray dog and vicious dog hotline, to address that. So this administration listens to its constituents. We make it a priority. My door is always open at City Hall. I'm open to anyone that walks in and needs to talk to the mayor. In terms of bad leadership, the previous administration left us behind on our annual audits. When I took office, the last annual audit was completed in 2017. Now that's a very serious offense. The reason why that is so serious is because Indianola has missed out on hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Had we been caught up on our annual audits and had good leadership in the previous term, we would not have had that problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering those questions. We appreciate your goals towards transparency and trust. You also spoke a lot about how you all would be able to provide an opportunity for residents to give their voice. In the beginning of this conversation, in your introduction, you spoke a little bit about your vision. This next question states that what is your vision for the city of Indianola for the next 4 years? This time we will start with Mrs. Steve Rosenthal.
Well, of course, I want to address the audit problem first. When I left office in 2021, we were 2 years behind. We are currently 5 years behind. So just to that point. But my vision is a community where we see partnerships with groups in town. You know, churches, civic groups, school systems, parents, all of those people have to get involved. No one person, no one group can fix the problems we have in Indianola. The old saying that it takes a community to make things better. Well, it takes more than just city government. It takes the citizens. And I will rely on all of you to come together and work to make a difference here in Indianola. Previously, through the Indianola Promise community, we had 30 programs going every day during the week. So those programs create camaraderie among the people. We work with children, we work with young adults, we work with the elderly. We have all types of programs going. And we had those going for 8 years, every day. During the summer, we funded through the Indianola Promise community 7 to 10 summer programs for children. Those programs kept them out of the street, gave them ideals to look forward to, growth in the community. They had hope. So my vision is a community that can get hope back in their hearts so we can come together and make a difference here in Indianola.
You know, when speaking about the audits and what they have going on, we have 2 leaderships that had a chance to get it right. I think the city and everybody in the community already know about that problem. We have real situations going on. So what I want to bring, the city and myself already know what the problem is, what we need to tackle. That also comes with the vision that I have. I don't want to go back to saying, hey, this is what I could have done. We want to start right now. So since that's the problem, we already know going in what we need to handle. Also, tackling these streets, being proactive, engaging with the community, with the safety, give our police department some help. Let all the citizens understand that they can go and talk to the police. You have a voice. Also, the city workers. I don't like the pay. I feel that for us to keep the type of people to work for our city, we need to pay them. I don't like that they're not being paid and they got a hard job to do. We want to keep our people here. We don't want them to leave and go to other places for work when they can establish greatness right here at home. Opportunities. We have more citizens in this city alone that have great ideas that they can bring business here. The community can help them. That's what I want to be, an advocate of the community. I want to make sure that we get a chance to engage and help out this community the best way we can. Thank you.
In terms of vision for the city of Indianola, this administration has a lot of specifics, projects that we have in the portal. Ladies and gentlemen, the B.B. King sidewalks and the Safe Routes to School grant was written by our own Dr. Adrian Brown some years ago. In November of this year, we're gonna see those, the vision for Indianola is to get our kids out of the street. For so many years, myself as well as a number of different kids traverse back and forth to school, walking in the middle of the street. And now we have sidewalks, and that's gonna happen under this administration. Again, what we wanna do in terms of the vision for Indianola, we want Indianola to become a destination spot for the Delta. In terms of doing that, we want to bring more live entertainment. We want to create more opportunities for tourism and also for music festivals. So we have a number of different things. Our one vision that we have, and we started working on this, partnering with the Main Street Chamber, is the Indian Bayou Blues Boardwalk. Our vision is to create a boardwalk that will expand down the length of the bayou. It will start right at Sunflower Avenue and extend down to Unger Street. Along this boardwalk, it will have educational placards. It will generate a lot of curiosity. A lot of schools that come to Indianola, this will create field trips. So again, this will help to bolster economic development. Another vision that we have for the city of Indianola, and I wish I could take credit for this, but this is the brain trust of our own Commissioner Willie Simmons, which is the place where three kings meet. This is B.B. King, Albert King, as well as Martin Luther King. It's going to be located right at the intersection of Highway 82 and 49. There's lots of funding that is going to go into this, and this will go toward our economic development and the vision for the city of Indianola. Thank you.
You're going to be next on this.
Okay.
Anyway, so in round two, we're going to talk about economy, jobs, and infrastructure. And when we look at this, this really falls under the umbrella of economic development. Because also with that, you have crime that comes into that, and also education. As I've always said, the road to economic development goes through the doors of the schoolhouse. So that being said, the first question is going to be on jobs and wages. How do you see the mayor's role in recruiting new companies to Indianola and expanding the ones we already have?
Okay. Wonderful question, and thank you for that. You want to know what the mayor's role is in terms of generating economic development as well as job creation. Again, for the short term, basically what we want to do is to bolster economic development through tourism. I talked briefly about that during the last segment. What we want to do is to bring more entertainment to the city of Indianola. A lot of that will generate jobs in the city of Indianola. When I first got into office here in Indianola, it saddened me that grown men, grown women that work for the city of Indianola were making $8, $9 an hour. First thing that I did when I became mayor was to raise the minimum wage to $10 an hour. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not much to brag on, but at least we can say that we can start you off at $10 an hour. It gives our working men and women the dignity that they so rightfully deserve. A long-term goal of ours is to bring in automotive manufacturing jobs to the city of Indianola, and I know that's a broad thing, but to the north of us in Tupelo, we have a Toyota automotive plant. To the south of us in Madison, we have a Nissan plant, Canton down there. What we want to do down in Canton, they have tier 1 and tier 2 projects in terms of manufacturing. What we want to do is partner with the city of Canton, see if we could bring that to the city of Indianola and possibly get a tier 2 or tier 3 project to employ 100, maybe 200 people in the city of Indianola. And that would be a game changer for us. Some years ago, Modern Lines closed its doors, Ludlow closed its doors, all the manufacturing jobs left the city of Indianola. We have not recuperated from that since, and automotive manufacturing is the way of the future. Thank you.
Same question?
Same question, you need to repeat it?
Yes, sir.
How do you see the mayor's role in recruiting new companies to Indianola and expanding the ones we already have?
It's a good question. More partnerships. I feel that we need to engage in more partnership. Right now, our city has less business, but when we can partner with different type of business, I feel that that's a good thing. And let me go more deep into that. We need to invest in the business that we have now. When I say that is the business that we have, we need to go ahead and partner with those type of people that has business so we can expand other type of business. So when you see that we have less business where we can go and have a great meal, let's partner with the ones that have these business, and so they can partner out and we can have more business. It takes all of us to come together to help out in that situation. I feel that we need to really engage in trying to see what type of business that needs to be here. You know, we need to get more federal funding. More federal funding causes us to have a lot of more work need to be done with the infrastructure. Of course, we need to just try to attack more on the outside of Indianola. You know, you go and partner out with different towns and see what kind of relationship that they have and bring it all together. And I think that we could most definitely expand with more different partnerships. Thank you.
Mr. Rosenthal.
Thank you, sir. As far as the mayor's job, there's two important parts. First, he runs the city of Indianola. He makes sure that services are provided to all the people. Number two is to bring jobs, and that's what I do. You may remember when we didn't have a Love's at the corner of 82 and 49. I drove personally on my own dime to Oklahoma City after sending letter after letter after letter to the home office for Love's. And I knocked on the door and I said, I want to speak to Mr. Love. They said, which one? I said, whichever one makes the decisions. I got to meet him. He didn't know where in the world Indianola was, but he knew somebody had been sending him a letter at least once a week, once a month. So he finally came down here and looked at Indianola. Within 3 months, they consummated the deal. I did the same thing, but it took 7 years for me to convince Suresh Chawla to put the Hampton Inn here. I worked with Burger King. They analyzed whether they wanted to come here, and I showed them a spot that had 25,000 cars a day at that intersection, and that they would have an opportunity to do business with those people. They opened up a Burger King here. So that's what a mayor does to get out there and bring it. I would love to be able to tell you that car manufacturing will show up next week, but I've spent the last 2 years going to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 manufacturing, and they say, we'd love to be in Indianola, if you could move it within 5 miles of Highway 55. That won't happen. But what we can do is distribution. We're at the intersection of 49 and 82. We can open up warehouses and distributions in Indianola. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about small business growth. The people and the businesses that are already here, that are the day-to-day people trying to make a living. What specific policies would you or could you implement to support local entrepreneurs and small businesses? Mr. Meyer?
Any of that?
The question was to support local entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Again, more partnerships. I feel that we need to really get more people to be attached to Indianola. We need more people that's willing to want to bring jobs here. We have to fix the problems before we can even think about trying to engage in bringing people here. For example, when we speak about our roads, of course our roads is kind of how it is, but how can we bring business here when we can't even properly ride on the roads? So I feel that it's best if we just try to tackle some of the problems that we have to bring in more sources. We have to attack within. Then we can, once we attack within, then more business will say, hey, this is a place that I would love to go. This is a place that I would love to bring business. But right now, I feel that we just need to tackle the weak parts so we can make it stronger when we bring in more partnerships.
Thank you. Mr. Rosenthal, I'll let you go last.
Well, first of all, I have to rely on some things that I have done in the past, which I think we were very successful. And that was, as Mr. Hollis said, with a partnership with the Mississippi Center for Justice. We had an entrepreneur training session and a financial literacy program. And what we were able to do with partnership with our local lending agencies to come up with a program that if you put into savings $1 and up to $2,000, we'll match it with $2 more. So for that $1, you get $3. And the only requirement we had on that was that you invest in a new business, improve your education, or put a down payment on a home. So those people learned how to manage money and how to learn to start a business. We had meetings with SBA on how to get a small business loan, because so many of our good entrepreneurs, funding is the problem. So with the SBA, they can guarantee up to a certain amount if you qualify now, not just to anybody and everybody, but if you've had those trainings and show a good business plan, you can get those fundings. So through these partnerships, we can train people to be able to start their own business or to enlarge their business. So we have the people, we have the quality people, but we need the training and the background to give them on how to get the funding to do those programs. Also, in the school system, I helped initiate a program called Leader in Me, working with the youth. It gives those young people starting in the first grade, because if you wait till they're seniors, it's too late. But it teaches them how to become leaders starting in the first grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Featherstone.
Yes, same question. All right, in regards to small businesses, ladies and gentlemen, small businesses are the backbone of our economy here in the city of Indianola. A second ago, you heard the other candidate, Myrick, mention more federal funding. Well, there will be no more federal funding that Indianola will get until we get caught up on our annual audits. I cannot stress that enough. In terms of small businesses, what we have been discussing and we're working on right now is creating small business incubators. We need to start training people on how to run small businesses. We need credit literacy, so you know exactly how to get in front of loan officers and put together a very good, viable business plan and successfully walk out of there with a loan. We need to train a lot of our people on customer service. I've spoken with the director out at the CAP Center. We need to do a better job in terms of hospitality. My other candidate up here talked about fast food jobs and service industry jobs. We got a lot of those. You gotta put a kid through college. You can't pay a mortgage off with fast food and service industry jobs. We need manufacturing jobs. We can't be told that it can't come because of whatever. We just need to find a way, get creative, and make it happen. Thank you.
Okay, our next question deals with infrastructure. And I call this kind of back to the basics. Because if you can't take care of the small stuff, you certainly can't take care of the big stuff. Okay, Mr. Rosenthal, regarding roads, drainage, water systems that have been flagged as major concerns by residents, what is your top priority for improving infrastructure and how do you fund it?
Okay. Well, of course, the first things we see are the potholes and the bad construction in our streets. But you can't fix the top until you fix the bottom. So we have to start off with water and sewer. Those things are, I mean, our newest stuff is probably 20 years old. So it takes a big plan. When I left office in 2021, we had 9 streets designed, planned, and funded. 3 water systems planned, designed, and funded. So we already had the process going. During my term, we resurfaced 27 streets. So I understand the processes. Now the question keeps coming up about audits. Again, you have to be creative. I've been working with Butler Snow. They did our last bond issue and a renewal on a bond issue that I worked with on. And they have a plan that we can get a bond issue issued to do new streets and roads. That will take time. It won't be a quick process, but we can get it done. Federal funds, whether we have our audits together or not, we know with the current administration, federal funds are not coming to the Mississippi Delta. We're gonna have to struggle, beg, borrow, and steal to get federal funds. The little bit we'll get might fix 1 water system. We got 10 that need work on it. So we can't rely on somebody else to fix it for us. We have to step up to the plate, but we can do it, audit or no audit. We can get it done. So you gotta be creative though. You can't just do the same old, same old. I see the finger, so I'm gonna step down.
Mr. Featherstone.
Yes, in terms of our infrastructure and the funding for it. Mr. Rosenthal mentioned, and I heard him say the same thing on Thursday. We had a meet and greet. He mentioned the name drop Trey Harrison of Butler and Snow. During my term, we did, myself as well as the Board of Aldermen, we went to Butler and Snow. We asked them to put an application together for a general obligation bond. And ladies and gentlemen, we were denied. Take one guess why we're denied. We were behind on our annual audits. There's no getting around that. You gotta get caught up on your annual audits. I don't know whether or not that's a mistake by Mr. Rosenthal, but you can't stand before the people of Indianola and sell them a bill of goods. You attended every city meeting, so I know you know we applied for a general obligation bond and were denied. So be honest with the people. Under my administration, we paved a number of different streets. We paved Slim Street, Cleveland Street, Coates, Sunflower Avenue. We had a lot of complaints, people zigzagging on Wiggins Road. We got Wiggins Road completed. Right outside here, 2nd Street as well as Main Street. These were 2 very important thoroughfares in the city of Indianola. Both Main and 2nd Street connect Highway 49 to our commercial business center, and we got those done. Those streets are smooth as a baby's bottom. And the next thing that we're going to do is to strike those streets. Now, in terms of funding, what we do have at our disposal is our use tax. We are using our use tax money. The last several streets that we did get completed, that's how we did it. We funded it through the use tax. Our ARPA money, American Rescue Plan Act, we have $4.4 million sitting in our bank accounts right now. I implore the Board of Aldermen, let's put that money, let's get it out of our account and convert that to getting these streets done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
We really have to stop pointing the blame. Again, we know what the problem is. We know what's going on with your question, sir. Of course, we're going to be behind with a lot of federal funding dealing with the islands, but we can't keep pointing hands on what administration did and what happened. We need to tackle this situation right now. No matter if it's a new mayor or old mayor, we're going to have the same problems until we come together to attack it first. And that's exactly what my plan is, to attack the problem first, then engage. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, as that will conclude our second round of questions. We will now move into the third round of questions, where these questions will be from a series of community, housing, accountability, and public safety. For your first question, around housing and accountability, how do you view the mayor and city's role in holding landlords accountable for unsafe and substandard housing conditions? And how does this tie into improving housing inventory in the city? And we will start with Mr. Featherstone.
Thank you for that question. In terms of keeping landlords accountable, we have a real big problem that the city inspector and the Board of Aldermen are dealing with right now. We have a number of landlords that have tenants, and once those tenants finish up their lease or they turn over for whatever the reason, they empty out that structure and put all of their belongings right out on the edge of the roadway. That goes against our city code. That's a violation. It is up to that landlord to clear that debris, those household items, whether they be mattresses, and we see that all around the town. Mattresses thrown out, contents from the inside of the house, all of those have to go. We have a very vibrant plan in terms of bringing more affordable quality houses to the city of Indianola. The city of Indianola is partnering with Delta Housing and Development. Very soon, you're going to hear more about plans to bring the Bill Richardson subdivision to the city of Indianola. Just to the east of B.B. King Road, and before you get to Bell Grove Missionary Baptist Church, that whole open area out there, that area is already plotted off. The plans are in the makings right now to bring that into being. Once those houses are developed, and they will be modern houses, not just smaller houses, but very upscale and modern houses that will come in. With the addition of those houses, it absolutely will increase our ad valorem taxes that we need here in the city of Indianola. So that's our plan in terms of bringing affordable houses. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rosenthal, we were like,
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you so much.
Call the name.
Oh, no.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. So around housing and accountability, how do you view the mayor and city's role in holding landlords accountable for unsafe and substandard housing conditions? And how does this tie into improving housing inventory in the city?
You know, I'm sure that everyone wants a beautiful city. I'm sure that we want to ride by and make sure that our city looks good. Some of the areas we can tackle more on that. So I think that the landlord really should be focusing more on keeping their areas clean. You know, that's part of making a city looks good. You know, we can't have too much of trash all over the city. That makes the city look real bad. That's like that don't make people want to come into your city. You know, and I feel that we just need to do more again with that word partnership on developing new homes, especially for the elderly. We need to make sure we take care of our elderly. You know, that's more on my platform and my vision, but I'm going to talk more on that pretty soon. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. I want to correct something from a minute ago. I did say that you have to be creative on finance. Of course, as our current mayor, not being a businessman, doesn't quite understand how you do specialty financing. You don't do a general obligation bond. You do a revenue bond because our water department has a perfect record, has a good cash flow, and we're able to borrow against that cash flow. You don't borrow against a general obligation bond because that means you're borrowing on your signature. We're borrowing on income. So to correct that, he is wrong. But on housing, and I can't remember the exact date, but I think in 2012, I brought to the table a rental housing ordinance. It is in place and we used to enforce it. That gives the code enforcement / inspector the authority to inspect any home at any time. Currently, what's happening is when somebody moves in, if they get the check off to move in and don't move out in 3 years, that house could be falling down around them, and we didn't have the authority before. We have that authority now to go in there and inspect that home. Anyone that has 2 homes or more are required to get a privilege license and put on record with our inspection department every house that you own and operate. That way we know where to go and what to do and make sure those homes are up to par. We have to use our adjudication process. So many times it comes before the board, and I understand stories that family problems and stuff, but if a home is going against public health and safety, it either needs to be repaired or removed so a new home can be brought to the table. Because if you let it sit there, it rots the whole neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The next 2 questions are going to deal with youth opportunities and public safety with a subsect of crime and curfew as well. So, Mr. Myrick, residents highlighted youth crime and lack of opportunities. What specific programs would you support to give young people positive outlets and pathways to success?
More youth programs. We need to really get control of the youth. That means going to the schools. That means going to the different communities, be visible. You know, our youth is struggling and needs a leader. We have a higher turnover rates dealing with youth not graduating high school. That's a big problem. When we have more youth that's not engaged into public education, that becomes a problem. We need to engage more into education. We need to get more youth activities going on. We need more people in the community to help engage, teach the youth a better tomorrow. You know, with different crimes that's going on, the youth is more into the crime than trying to read a book. We need to just make them feel safe. Law enforcement needs the city help. We're trying to lower the crime, engage more with the youth. Thank you.
Mr. Rosenthal.
I apologize if I'm going to ask you to repeat it one more time.
Sure. What specific programs would you support to give young people positive outlets and pathways to success?
Well, as far as supporting anybody that brought anything to the table, I would be willing to work with them if it's going to help young people be active and participate in growing mentally and physically. But creating programs, it takes community people to come involved, whether it's a church group, whether it's a 501c3, whether it's the homeless shelter. Anybody can come together and give us some programs that'll work with the youth. We got to work with our school system. You know, they can't teach kids 24/7. They leave school and go home. We got to work with parents as well. You know, the school system can do a lot, but they aren't the parent. We got to work with parents. That they want the good things for their children. They just need a little guidance. We all want to see our children succeed and be happy. We can come up with some programs rather than saying, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. We got to get involved. Now, the city itself can support any of those programs, and I would be willing to support any of them. Through the Promise community, as I mentioned before, we have 30 of those programs running every day for 8 years and made great strides. Mr. Myrick talked about the graduation rate. When we started, we had about a 40% people not graduating. That's tremendously bad. Now we're at 80% graduating. That's a 20% not graduating. That's still way too many. We got to keep our young people in school. With the CAP Center, there's all kinds of programs that are 8 weeks, 16 weeks. You can go to those programs, and the minute you complete them, you can get a job. So we can work with children in that way.
Thank you. Mr. Featherstone.
Thank you for that question. Our youth and public safety, that's right within my wheelhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to first say that in terms of where we are in public safety, we have only one gun homicide in the city of Indianola. And that's one too many. But that's down tremendously, exponentially from where we used to be. We still have a problem with random gunfire, and we're working on that as well. We're bringing in police technology. Chief Sampson brought in a company called ShotSpotter. And what ShotSpotter is, it is police technology that has certain devices that we'll put up around town. Once there is a shot that goes off, this technology can pinpoint that where that shot comes from down to a matter of feet. Those are things that we are doing. Our Indianola Junior Rams, we're so proud of them. That's an organization that I partnered with some years ago. We created the Mayor's Charity Ball. In our first year, we raised $11,000, and we gave all of that over to the Indianola Junior Rams so that they could buy new helmets. In order for them to play in the league that they played in, they had to have regulation helmets. So we bought those for them. It keeps those kids into doing constructive activities. That's something that's so important. In terms of positive outlets, that's one that we have. A lot of times we focus a lot on sports, but it misses out on kids that are into the arts, kids that are into gaming. So we're coming up with different concepts to have more opportunities for our kids. We have, in the last 4 years, we had Indianola's Night Out to create safe spaces for our kids to come and trick or treat. We had Indianola's Game Night. Again, another safe space that we created to have our kids to come together and to have constructive activities. Thank you.
Mr. Featherstone,
Yes, sir.
this next question leads into what you just said. What is your strategy to make the city safer? And what is your stance on a curfew?
In terms of, I'll tackle the curfew question first. In terms of that, a year ago, and I have to talk about this because it's something that has never left anybody's mind, let alone mine. We had the worst shooting in town history. And we had 16 youths that were shot in a mass shooting. 3 19-year-olds, males were killed in this incident. I invoked a curfew at that time. And with the help, of course, with the Board of Aldermen, who we voted unanimously to get that in place. Now, what that did, it got our youth off the street during a normal time. It shut down businesses, particularly within our entertainment district. Now, it made although things got quieter and the results were there, it actually worked. But the problem is that we have some merchants that do the book of their business after midnight, and it didn't set very well with them. However, the measure was meant to be a temporary measure and not permanent. So as things got better, as crime got better, we loosened the reins, and then the curfew, we lifted the curfew. Now, there have been shootings in cities that are adjacent to us, over in Greenwood, Greenville. They invoked the curfew, and we had some people that said, well, why not bring the curfew back? Let's join those cities. Well, our kids, again, I mentioned earlier, we're in a better place right now. We're quiet right now, and we want to stay exactly where we are. I didn't think it would be a good idea to punish our kids who are doing very well at the time and put them under a curfew again. So that was a decision that I made. But again, things can change. This is, but I think that's an option that a lot of leaders like myself put into place to handle situations with violent activity. Thank you.
I feel that Indianola is a city that can control its crime. I feel that we don't need to, our first job is to put the city on a curfew for something that can be manageable. If we can get more of the church leaders, more of our mentors, more of our people that's trying to help our police department, then we can fix the problem. We need more activities for our youth to get more involved in. We need to bring back that happiness in our community. That's what we need. We need to let the youth understand it's more in life than just walking around with firearms of war. Now, I'm not against the curfew, but I'm all for doing the right thing at the right time. And I feel that engaging with our community more and doing it the right way, having the right leader, having the right kind of professionalism, right moral ethics to go out to do the job, then we can worry about a curfew if everything goes south. But first and foremost, let's do more engagement with the community. Thank you.
I'd have to say I'm somewhat in agreement with Mr. Myrick. Engagement is key. You know, that mass shooting was a terrible, terrible event here in Indianola. But we blamed it on Church Street. The event didn't happen on Church Street. The bar that was involved had a sign that said only 21 years or older. So that meant all of these youth were hanging around outside as they should have been, not in that bar. So the shooting ended up on 2nd Street in Court, off of Church Street. The Church Street caught the blame. They were the ones who were most affected by the curfew. Curfews on a limited basis are okay. This one went on for months. It could have put those businesses out of business, and they didn't have any involvement with that shooting. It was a big event night. The youth were out. We were understaffed police-wise. We were not well prepared. And again, I'm not saying anything. I haven't had a conversation with the chief. His hands were tied because of manpower. We gotta come up with a way to recruit new and better officers. I have a plan that may use some type of incentive that we will have to work with our attorney to be able to make those incentives a legal process, but to where we can entice newer, younger police officers who have it in their heart for law enforcement. I hear a lot of people say, we don't want these young officers. Well, if we don't have young officers, where are we going to get seasoned officers? We got to start somewhere. So we need to recruit, but we need to well train those young officers to do the right thing when they're out there patrolling. So I do think we can solve it with programs and interesting things for children, and children being young adults to get involved with, so they'll show up at good things, not bad things. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. This will conclude our moderated questions. Now we will move into questions that will come from our audience and also our live stream. John, we'll return it over to you for live stream questions, and then we'll open the floor for our audience questions.
I'll give this to y'all since I don't have a mic.
You want us to read? Go ahead, Rob.
From our live stream, what is the city's plan to help facilitate safety in schools? And we can start with you.
It's a great question. Go into the schools, be visible, show the youth a better tomorrow. Not only into the schools, into the neighborhoods. I've been invited to several homes. I've spoken with several parents and juveniles, dealing with their temporal and situation that they have at school. Even when I work on my job, I be more active in the community. We have to start there first. These youth looking at us, they seeing if we don't care, they can tell we don't care. We need to show them that we really care about them. So that's the most important thing, to show more youth love and support to the youth, to the community, and to the many families that's out asking for help. Thank you.
And that is a good question. And the city, first of all, can support the school in any way we would like to do it. But the responsibility for safety starts with the school system. We can only come in there if they ask us to do things, and we would jump full-handed to go do some things. Now, there's some funding that used to be available, and I don't know, Dr. Brown works for the school system to get grants and stuff, but there used to be grants where we could get extra law enforcement within the school system. And the city would definitely support and recommend that grant to have more law enforcement there in the school. And personally, I don't like overly law enforcement, but that may get a little bit more respect within the school system. The second thing that needs to happen is more parents and grandparents need to go by the school. Whether you have kids in school, out of school, just like Mr. Myrick said, you got to show them some love. You got to let them know that you're interested. One, cosmetically, when the facilities look bad or are bad, then the kids look at it and say, they don't care about us. So we got to prove to them that we're there for them. Earlier on in Indianola Promise Community, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but it was such a wonderful program. We had a mentoring program starting at Lockhart and then moved on to Carver, where we had over 125 people doing mentoring every week with young people. I know Mr. Mr. Motley was an avid mentor to a number of young people. Those young people who may not have had a father figure got that from community people. And I'm sure Mr. Motley probably still stays in contact with some of those people that he mentored. And I appreciate what he did. Thank you.
The city of Indianola currently does have a plan for safety in schools. We hear a lot of today from the other candidates in terms of concepts, and then there's a reality. They're talking about a lot of concepts, but we have formulated an organization called Dads on Duty. A lot of times, in terms of crime, the answer isn't always law enforcement. So we took a holistic approach. We actually did go into the school systems, myself, as well as other positive male role models. We engaged the kids. I see Dr. Khalil Weeks back there, Dr. Khalil Ransom. She runs the alternative school. A lot of times when we went into that school, she would tell us, by and large, we have a problem with vapes. We're taking vapes off of kids every single day. When I heard that, I took that back before the board. We put that on the agenda and brought it before the city meeting. And we put all of our tobacco distributors on notice. If we find out that any of our outlets, our stores here in the city of Indianola are selling to our youth, we're gonna shut them down, plain and simple. So we go into these schools, Dads on Duty, we engage these kids. We came across one kid who happened to be in the alternative school, and we asked him, why are you here? You know, come to find out the kid was getting teased because he had body odor. Well, the reason why the kid was not able to properly bathe is because the water had been cut off in the kid's house for several weeks. So we have to engage these kids, find out what the underlying problem is and what are their triggers toward violence. And that's what Dads on Duty is about. We didn't have to get a grant for that. We just went around and found out, hey, are you available today? You available today? You available today? And once we got a handful of positive male role models, we went right into the school. That we didn't need the permission. We did get permission from the school, but it wasn't an act of Congress. All we did was go into, told them what we wanted to do. They gave us permission and we walked right in. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Thank you. So this question is actually going to be from a hot topic tonight that many of you have discussed. And the question is, what is the number one issue slowing audits for the city?
The number one reason why it takes so long to get audits completed. Number one, you gotta find an audit, a CPA firm that actually handles municipal government. A lot of them don't. You have to have that level of expertise. In the sense of the city of Indianola, well, we gave that task to a CPA firm, Tan, Brown, and Russ, and told them to get us caught up. Well, the problem was they had to go all the way back to pull records from 2017, the last time we had a completed annual audit. So with years that passed from trying to get audits done, records are lost. We have turnover with city clerks. So the clerk's primary job is she's the clerk of record to get things together. If you don't have a clerk in place, it slows down the process. So all of those things have we've experienced in terms of trying to get caught up on our annual audits, but not to be discouraged, because what we can say we caught up on the 2018 audit, we caught up on the 2019 audit, and we've engaged our CPA firm to get caught up on 20 and 21. That is a priority for this administration. We're getting caught up, and again, I can't stress it enough, we're losing out on thousands and even millions of dollars in grants that we need. With The last census that we have, it verified that we're losing our population. We got people that are leaving Indianola, headed up to Tupelo, headed up to Oxford. When you lose part of your population, you lose your tax base as well. So with that in mind, what we wanted to do is to try to stop that, to have people to stay here in Indianola. So thank you very much for that question.
That is a very good question, and I have to start where the problem started. When we needed our first audit done with the current board, who was the board prior to this term, I brought 3 different auditing firms to the table. The first 2 made presentations, and they were denied by that current board. The third one said, we don't want to work for y'all. So Mr. Elder over there recommended a firm from Jackson, Mississippi. They came to us and told us, we're going to spend 1 week with you, and then y'all are going to have to send us all the information to get the audit done. Needless to say, that audit took 1.5 years. Now, COVID was in place after they got started, so that put us 1.5 years behind. So we let them finish that one. We had contracted for a second one. They got to being almost 90% complete, and the board got frustrated with them and terminated. So then we didn't have an auditing firm again for almost 1 year. During that time, I brought multiple city clerks to be hired. That board would not hire them. So we had to outsource people to work as a city clerk. I hired with the board's approval, of course, an accounting firm who helped keep all our records in place. But they couldn't do an audit because it took a city clerk. Finally, when I got a city clerk, we started moving forward again. Needless to say, that city clerk, being antagonized by that current board, quit. So then we were without a city clerk again. My plan on audits is to give them an incentive package that if they can do 1 year in 6 months, which it normally takes 4, that's giving them plenty of time, that we will give them a bonus to get it done early, and then another bonus on the second. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Based on your understanding, what is the #1 issue slowing audits?
Did y'all hear that? Now my question is, what is going on in your city hall? We have 2 leaderships. You have one that had several years. You have one that had a couple of years. Now, ask yourself this. What happened on the first administration of all those years? Now ask yourself, what happened 3 years ago? And just last year or the beginning of this year is when they decided to talk about the audits. So you tell me what's going on in your city hall. So I would answer that. Change needs to be in your city hall. You need professionalism. You need people that's going to take care of you. You need people that's going to answer your questions and your concerns. I don't have the experience of being the mayor, but I can guarantee you this, day one, I will boots on the ground and take care of what's not being taken care of. Thank you.
Yeah, take a quick for the audience.
You got more?
Fine.
That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Great job. We will now address questions from the audience. I want to do this in a very orderly fashion, so if you would raise your hand. First, I have Ms. Stewart. Well, hold on, what's your last name?
Hello, everybody. My name is Marquita George, and I would like to touch back on the stray dogs issue. So I didn't know anything about the stray dog hotline, and a couple of months ago, I was chased by dogs twice, and I talked to the dog pound person, and like nothing was done. So I'm just trying to figure out like what do you guys plan to do about the stray dogs in the city? Because like people want to ride their bikes or walk, and it's just scary to do that now because the dogs are out.
At this time, either one of y'all that want to answer the question, you may have it.
Thank you for your question. We do have a problem with stray dogs in our community. When this administration came into being in its inception in 2022, we were coming right off of COVID. A lot of things happened during COVID. A lot of people fell on hard times. And I said all that to say this. A lot of times in our communities, you wake up one day, you don't see a dog. You wake up the next day, you see 4 dogs in your community. A lot of people who fall on hard times make business decisions. It comes down to a decision whether or not you're going to feed your family or you're going to feed your dog. What the result of that is, they abandon their dogs on our streets. That's how those dogs end up in our communities. Now, the city of Indianola does have a pit bull ordinance. We find out that there is a pit bull that's anywhere in the city of Indianola within our city limits. We're going to have to send out our animal control officers, and they're going to remove those officers. Now, in terms of stray dogs, we can have the same thing. Yes, you're right. We did set up a hotline for that. We have you to call anytime you see those. We had a number of episodes that have happened in the city of Indianola. On last year, we had a couple of kids that were terrorized right at the bus stop, getting ready to go to school. So what did we do? We had our animal control officer to patrol areas where kids are getting on the bus to go to school to make sure that nothing happens, and when they return back from school. We have that going on right now. Thank you.
Stray animals as a whole is a problem in Indianola, but a lot of it falls back on the animal shelter. A number of months ago, more like 6 or 7, because of the inaction going on at the animal shelter, our Humane Society, who for years had helped fund the activities at the animal shelter and helped get dogs adopted so dogs that are running on the streets could be picked up and put out of where they couldn't do harm. That group, because of inaction of the city, they said, we're going to walk away. We're not going to participate. We're not going to help y'all. So we lost that support, which would have helped empty our shelter of those dogs that had been picked up. So these vicious dogs, because a lot of times they can't pick them up because we don't have a place to put them. We had an opportunity to have that entire shelter emptied with just the signature of a pen. But for some reason, we couldn't get anybody in City Hall to sign that document for allow them to remove those animals, have them placed in loving homes. It didn't happen. So for months and months, our paid animal control officer couldn't do his job because he didn't have a place to put any dog that he picked up. We need the Humane Society back in there supporting our animal shelter because they were the ones who moved those animals out. So those strays, and there are a lot of strays. The mayor made a good point. COVID did cause a lot of that problem, but we can't move them out of there. We can't put any new ones in until we make arrangements to get those that are in there adopted. And that is to transport them to loving homes in other states and other areas. Thank you. Then fine.
Of course, like Steve said, we do need more animals to be shelter. But the most important thing is, are they even trained to take care of the dog? I had the same situation before. We had to call the animal control constantly, constant. Nobody showed up. And when they did show up, they wanted to put the dog down. Why? You know, not only me being a dog lover, you want to be trained to do these jobs. I don't know who's hiring these people that's untrained. We need better trained people to represent our city and that's going to do the job. Thank you.
All right, good deal. Can y'all hear me okay right now? I can talk pretty loud. All right. Before we address the audience again, we had another question that was virtual. The question was, why can't we have a crossing guard at Gentry High School? And I will give this to Mr. Myrick again. You can come first, and we'll be followed by Mr. Rosenthal and Featherstone.
Unfortunately, that's I guess that's a I don't understand that, you know, but I mean,
Please keep it down.
Who hires the crossing guard?
well, should I speak under? I mean, what kind of?
It was just one that we had offline. If it's one that you don't,
Yeah, I think
it
it's
does not fall under
Yeah,
the mayor.
I think that's.
Smart to know that.
Well, first of all, there's no reason that we shouldn't have one. Again, that's a coordination between our police department and the school system. I know as mayor, we always had crossing guards at every school during start of school and ending of school. Now, again, supposition may be, it may be hard to find somebody for what we're willing to pay. I don't know, but we must have crossing guards at the schools. Whatever it needs to be done, we need to get that done.
Mr. Featherstone? I mean, Mayor Featherstone, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. In regards to the crossing guards at Gentry High School, our chief does a wonderful job in terms of manning all of our crossing guards to cover every public school in the city of Indianola. Now, we have resource officers with the school district that are in place. The county does a good job. At the start of this school year, we've seen Sunflower County at Gentry High School during school bell hours as well as when school lets out. So we do have those crossing guards, but we ask and we coordinate with Sunflower County Consolidated School District in terms of having safety in place, visible crossing guards. Again, we cover all the schools, and we ask that the school district cover Gentry High School. So there is, and again, I know that they're out there. Gentry High School is in my backyard. I can look out my window and see them there. So we do have coverage for that. No incident has taken place as of yet during the school district in terms of outside people arriving and departing from school. So God bless that for not having any incident that has taken place. But we do have coverage at all of our local public and private schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to say that no question is a dumb question, so I want to encourage you all to speak openly. Do we have any other questions from the audience at this time?
Right here.
All right. First, we're going to take Mr. Motley. Then we have the gentleman in the back. And next, we have Mr. Young.
Speaking from experience, I worked for the police department from 88 to 95 years ago. And so the three candidates, I'd like to know three things that you all would like to do, would do, to improve our current police department else we speak tonight. Now, I'm gonna say this, maybe harsh as well. Charles Martin don't have no confidence in our police department helping speak tonight. No, speaking from experience, I'm just not just up here talking. So 3 things that you all would do if elected on day 1 to improve the Indianola police department. You up here, new SUVs, new cars, sliders, even bicycles, cameras. Nothing concerning crime has gotten done here in the city of Indianola. So what?
That's a good question. Of course, I would like to answer that. I think that was very brave of you to speak up about your police department because they work for you. My plan is to most definitely listen to them. I want to be able to listen to them because I want to know what's the problem. Say that again?
Speaking of Mike.
Okay. All right. The number one thing that I want to do, I want to listen to them because the police department has such a very hard task, especially being outnumbered with all of the violent crime that's going on. I want to make sure that I can listen to them to see what's the problem and how can I help them. That's day 1. Because no matter who you put there, what leader you put there, you're going to have the same problem. But you want to listen to them. You want to listen to the department to see what it is that you can do to help. Now, by me looking in, we need more officers. We need more pay. We need more training. And as you can see, they already putting the training in order. I'm hearing some of the officers are taking swimming lessons. You never know. You never know, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because you never know what crime will take you. Now, if we can listen to them, then we can barely know how to serve you and serve the community. Thank you.
Well, of course, Charles, being in law enforcement before, knows there's no instant one thing that's going to change things on day 1. But I will say, our current chief, I didn't hire, but I do have complete confidence in the opportunity that he has to do the right thing. Because I've been to every city board meeting for the last 4 years, and over and over and over, he's come before this board and asked for help. And the board gave him a little raise to placate him, but it didn't fix anything really. So I'm willing on our chief and all of the department heads, day 1, I'm gonna put all of them on 90-day probation and get our new board to take the time to get to know our employees and what they can do and what their shortcomings are. But I do believe, as Mayor Featherstone mentioned, that device that would pinpoint these shots fired. And I'm wholeheartedly in favor of it. And I would push to make it happen. The board chose not to do it. So it sounds good talking in front of you, but the board denied it. So we need to listen to the law enforcement profession. I'm not a law enforcement professional. I'm not a fire chief or a fireman. I listen to those people to help guide me. Numerous times people have talked about a second substation over in Southgate. that may be a good idea. I don't know, but I would throw it out to the chief and we'll study it. But I'm gonna put it up to our law enforcement professionals. But I do believe with the support of a good board, we can make a difference. Thanks.
Three things to improve the Indianola Police Department. First of all, I'm ex-law enforcement myself, and I'm going to stand in defense of the Indianola Police Department. They have done a wonderful job. Crime, and these are hard statistics and hard numbers. Crime right now is down 27% in the city of Indianola from the previous administration. The biggest problem that we have right now is we're down in our manpower. We're down in our ranks. And what we plan to do is to do more hiring. We absolutely need to improve or increase what we pay our police officers. A lot of times when we raise, and under my administration, we have raised the salaries for police officers not once but twice. That is, and every time a police officer leaves, we have an exit interview that we conduct. And in that exit interview, by and large, the reason why police officers are leaving is for more competitive salaries. Now, we need, another thing we need is additional training. Right now, we're embarking on the month of October. The month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We are sending, and I talked with Chief, we're sending officers over to get trained on domestic violence. Every time Chief comes out with crime stats, I notice the number 2 crime that always pops up is domestic violence. And we need to do something about that. Tactical improvements is the third thing that we could do. We don't do enough vehicle stops around the city of Indianola. Every Thursday, we have municipal court here in the city of Indianola. And every Thursday, there are a number of people that are not showing up to court. They are, and so with that in mind, we put out a failure to appear warrant for them. We need to do a better job because these people are still riding around town right now. Vehicle stops is the answer to that. So you're going to see us start to move a little bit different in terms of tactical planning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so next, Ms. Mala, I did hear you. I am gonna come back with you, but I want to be respectful to ensure that everybody's questions are heard. At this time, the gentleman in the back with the black shirt, your hands up. Yes, sir.
My name is Gerald Jones. I was come from an economic standpoint of the black community. I was raised by a single mother, hard-working single mother. And this topic is very personal to me. I want to address all three, the mayor, and guys and brothers, man. You had Sam who came about all these rent houses in the black community. Yeah. He came about all these rent houses. And he charged my sisters $800,000 and $900,000 a month for rent. You said it yourself, you got a problem job. That's no jobs. But you bragged and said you got Burger King. We have Love's. Those jobs cannot accommodate that rent. We need industrial jobs. Now, some of the people who have been out on their own had to move back home with their mom and sisters because these landowners allowed to charge these sisters $800,000 and $900,000 a month for rent when they're not even jobs you can accommodate this. So the question I want to ask you is here. What type of system y'all gonna put in place?
I would address that
Okay,
one
thank
since he pinpointed some of my family. First of all, houses are like cars. You know, if you want to drive a Cadillac, Cadillac costs a lot of money. If you want to drive a Volkswagen, it's a little cheaper. The quality of those homes based on the rent. The rents in Indianola are based on what Section 8 pays. So if you want to complain about what rents are, talk to South Delta Housing and Development in Leland, because they set the rents. So we do need more housing, and we need more jobs. And we can talk, wait, we need more jobs. So we have to work towards those things. If you want to change it, we need to look to our federal government. They're cutting out Medicare, they're cutting out Medicaid, they're cutting out SNAP. We are getting ready to really be in some trouble. So we have to look at it differently now. There are plenty of $500 and $600 houses, but we talked earlier about inferior homes. We can't put people in inferior homes, no matter what the rent is. So we got to work on affordable housing that is government subsidized. We run in the same problem. We don't have a government that is willing to help our single parent homes. So there's a problem that we got to get creative on. That's going to take some of our innovative people like Reverend McGee, who came up with a program to help the homeless. We got to come up with programs that we ourselves can fund. We can't rely on somebody else. But if you want a quality home, you got to pay quality rent. We want homes that people like your sister, I think you said, can afford to pay. And we as a group can come up with that. Thank you.
Wow, that was a little, but for that was a good question. But it's not a black family. It's not a white family. All of us really have to make sure that we can afford to pay our bills, that we can afford to purchase eggs and gas for our vehicles. But I think for the question that you're asking, I would love to reach out and help. I would love to see what kind of partnership we have to help out and help those in need. We have different programs going on right now that's seeking the city for assistance. So I'm all for it. I'm all for trying to help out. When it's time to help out, I'm all for it, sir. Take care.
Featherstone, would you like to?
Question over here.
I'm gonna come over, once I get Mr. Young, then I come.
Mr. Jones, that's a very good question. Myself, in terms of my profession, I'm not a homeowner in the sense that I have tenants or landlord. However, there are a number of state programs that are out there for rent assistance, utility bill assistance. In the political climate that we're in right now with the administration that we have right now, a lot of funding is getting cut. And when I see people that come into City Hall and they need assistance with water bill, we reach out to those state agencies, and they in turn send them over to Sunflower Humphrey County Progress. The Humphrey County Progress, from time to time, they get grants for that. Right now, those grants are spent up, and the new funding coming in is not coming in a timely manner. So that's kind of where we are. So that's a problem that the answer to that could come out of Washington, D.C. But again, we're kind of in a precarious situation right now regarding that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Young, question was next, and then I'm going to go back to the virtual question, and then I'll address the
Ward 5, of course, we already know the population is at Indianola, according to 2025 census, it said 87 places. We do see a down spiral in as far as people leaving. What do you see for a vision of the next 4 to 8 years of Indianola? Where do you see it going? And, what's your vision? Where do you see it? I know you already kind of spoken on things, but what do you see Indianola as a whole, as a community, see it in the next 4 to 8 years?
I'd like to take that question. In terms of what the vision is, and you're Mr. Young, you're absolutely correct. We have been losing our population by and large. Some of the things that we'd like to do in terms of tourism and economic development will bring people back to Indianola. We like to consider ourselves a bedroom retirement community. So this is a place where we're trying to get people who have gotten to retirement age to come back to Indianola. Another thing we like to do in terms of this administration is talent retention. For all of our students who are graduating from high school and college, going on, we want them to stay here in the city of Indianola. However, you gotta have good paying jobs in order to do that. I can't blame, and I know you can't blame anyone for wanting to go and get paid what they're worth. Myself, I left Indianola. One of the jobs the prestigious job that I had was I became a special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I believe I never could have done that living in where I was, right here in the Delta. So, but after that, we go and we leave and we acquire these skills. It is incumbent upon us to bring those skills back to the city of Indianola. Our community needs it. Our people need it. We are an aging community, and if you live long enough, you're going to become a caregiver. So a lot of our people that have raised us, trained us, we need our youth to come back and our people to come back and take care of your community. You have so much to give, and a lot of them have so many skill sets. I've got friends who are surgeons, engineers, accountants, so on and so forth. After they retire, we are encouraging them to come back to the city of Indianola, bring your skills and your skill set right back home. Thank you.
Well, of course, we can talk about lack of opportunity, and that's what it all boils down to. We got to come up with some solutions to help bring quality jobs to Indianola. I started a program back here in the city where if somebody's investing in a piece of property, they can come before the city and get a 7-year tax abatement to help them entice to come to Indianola rather than going to Greenwood, because we were losing at one time a lot of businesses to Greenwood. Again, we have to be creative. We have to come up with other solutions. I work every day trying to find a tenant to come into the Modern Line property. So far as to say, here are the keys, you can have it if you'll employ 10 people and put it back on the tax roll. We talk about manufacturing. You would think you'd have 10 people looking to take that opportunity, but they know that it's going to take millions of dollars to do it. We got to find investors who are willing to put money into businesses here in Indianola. Yes, I agree with Mr. Jones back there. A fast food service job is just a starter job. It is not to raise a family on. You can't raise a family on a fast food restaurant job. Now at Love's, it's a little different. They make a little bit more. We need to work with UNFI. People call it Unify, but it's UNFI, to try to get them to bring more people back on the job roles there. They are getting in the bad habit of subbing out small jobs rather than hiring them with the company. We got to get more companies willing to bring them on full time. You can go out to Walmart and see that same process being used where they only use subs rather than full-time employees. So we got to take some of our local employers and get them to understand they got to bring our people up rather than shipping them off to somewhere else.
Would you like to address it?
Well, I want to answer your question. I see the city coming together. I see the vision of us coming together as one. I see us all understanding our problems, and without pointing the finger, I see us working towards trying to fix it. I believe we can do it together. I see that vision, and if we continue to come together like we are now to fix this problem, we'll be okay.
Thank you, Mr. Myrick. Thank you, officer. For the sake of time, we have one more question from the virtual setting. I would ask you all to please go back to the live if there are any questions. Each candidate is tagged in the post, and if they are not, we'll make sure that they are. And if I would ask if you all would so please do so, address their questions on the site. The last question is there any incentive to restart the youth sports by the city? And so I'm guessing this question is speaking in terms of youth programming, recreational opportunities within the city. Either candidate,
You said you sport?
youth sports,
Baseball, like the
Sports, I can't
baseball,
talk to that.
basketball.
yeah, the youth basketball,
That would be a question for our Parks and Rec person, Miss O'Neill, and she does a great job. I know because of COVID, that major basketball program that they ran for many years had a minimum of 400 kids. I would love to see that we partner again with the school. Currently, we're not on the best of terms with the school, but I do think we can bridge that gap and get them back on board, allowing us to use the Gentry Gym, and I think we were using the Carver Gym at the time to have that program. But we are missing that right now. But I know Miss O'Neill, given the opportunity, would love to embrace it. I know she tried to redo an older building, but it did not work. But our partnership with the school is essential to get that program back.
thank you. Mayor Featherstone.
Yes. Thank you for the question. It was just said that we don't have a good relationship with the school district. I guess Mr. Rosenthal is speaking for himself, because I have a wonderful relationship with Superintendent Waldington. We sat down in his office and had a very good conversation with him in terms of what we're going to do to partner going forward. The previous superintendent, Dr. Mistia Davis, had the same relationship with her as well. Things that we're doing for our kid and for our youth services, and we over the years we've had a lot of neglect with our youth sports fields, our courts down on Jefferson Street, which used to be the sport when we talk about outdoor basketball. Now you can see grass growing up through the court. I've spoken with the Superintendent Waldington. We do have a plan, for the city to take over some of the courts. There are baseball fields along Hampton Street that have been abused for so long of a time. We need to get and reinvest in those. Mr. Rosenthal mentioned Director Carolyn O'Neill. We have a plan to renovate the baseball field at Fletcher Park. We recently renovated the basketball courts at B.B. King Park, which is on Roosevelt. Those are brand new courts, brand new resurfacing, brand new rims, brand new fencing. So those have happened. We have a tennis court that is absolutely not used just on the west side of our post office. We are gonna repurpose that tennis court to become a pickleball court. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in America. So we have plans for that. And again, our Indianola Junior Rams, we help them every way we can. We act as a go-between between them and the school district. A lot now, they are playing on the Gentry High School football field. So we do have some sports fields. We absolutely do need to reinvest in our sports fields and as well as our kids. So we do have a plan for those going forward in the future. Thank you so much.
I'm going to reserve my time since we didn't stop when the time ran out. I
You've
guess
been over
Mayor
before, too.
Featherstone forgot to mention that we've been insinuated to the school system that we were processing a lawsuit against them. My conversations with the new superintendent and the former superintendent, that we could not have interaction with the city until that matter is settled. I don't think anything will move forward, but it put a bad taste in 3, if not all 5, of the school board members. So in reality, they don't want to do business with us until that lawsuit is settled.
That's your reserve.
Thank you. Mr. Hollis.
We all have a relationship with the schools. I don't know what's the fight is, but school have policy. It's not the school fault that they don't want to bring in politics with education. That's a difference. So I don't know what's the fight is about the partners or with the school district, but we all have grounds with schooling and education. It's just the different school policy. Even law enforcement, they have their own law enforcement. Law enforcement just can't, like city law enforcement just can't walk up on the school campus and just start walking. No, they have their own law enforcement. So let's just stop that there. I would love to continue the partnership with Ms. O'Neill because, like I said in the beginning, I think our youth really need something to do other than holding the firearm. So yes, I would love to bring that back because that did wonders to the city of Indianola. Thank you.
Thank you. The young lady behind, right here. I'll give you the last question to take for tonight.
Well, I didn't have a question, I was just gonna make a statement.
Can you stand? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know times are hard right now, and I was hurting when the gentleman was talking about his mother trying to find out. And I'm gonna tell you this. Sister, okay. And I want you all to understand that this is not, you can't find a house because your sister is black. Please don't think that. Right now, I am a retired, highly qualified special ed teacher. All my life I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't go back to school and get a degree at Delta State until I was in my 50s. After that, I married, I went to Arkansas. My husband is now deceased. I went to Arkansas and taught. And I taught very, very disabled children. They weren't children that could go into the classroom. And I worked with those children for 6 years. But I was born with a heart condition, and I had my heart was closing. I had to have open heart surgery, and I was not able to get retirement. Because if you don't work 10 years as a teacher, you can't get full retirement. Therefore, my retirement is only $474 a month. That's not a lot of retirement. And so I live off of Social Security and my little bit of retirement, and that's it. So when my husband died, I moved in with my son, who is a long-haul truck driver, and we've only lived in Indianola for 3 years. And because he's newlywed, you know, I thought, well, I'd like to find a house in Indianola too. And I have friends that go to church, and I went to look at I didn't go look at the house, but I inquired about a house that was next door to my friend that it's not in the upscale neighborhood of Indianola anywhere, but just in a regular neighborhood like anybody else. The house was $975. Of course I didn't do that. And furnish it and pay utilities and things like that. So I just want to say a lot of it I heard it. I teach a Sunday school class at Eastwood Baptist Church. There is an older lady that goes to church with me. She also her doctor, she can't afford to, have a place to grow up. It's not just you can't afford it because you're black. There are plenty of them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We know that that's a very sensitive topic. I'm going to allow the candidates one last opportunity to speak, 2 minutes. And if you all want to mingle outside and ask additional questions, if you all would like to, that's great. After they speak, we also have food outside the doors. You all are welcome to enjoy it. I'm going to call on, and we try to keep this in the matter where all of y'all had opportunities to come. Mayor Featherstone, Mr. Myrick, and then Mr. Rosenthal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten well into the evening, and I know some people need to get home to get some supper. But in closing, Indianola, in the past 4 years, we've seen streets paved. We've seen city services improved. We've seen murals painted. We've seen enjoyed festivals here in town. We've seen wages increase. We've even seen crime reduced. We've had our share of wins, and we've suffered some losses over the last 4 years. However, we feel ourselves moving in a positive direction. We have momentum right now, an upward trajectory that we didn't have in the past. The Featherstone administration has seed in the ground, and that seed will turn into a bountiful harvest. That's why I'm asking you to re-elect Ken Featherstone for another 4 years, another term, to continue to move the city of Indianola forward. I know y'all have heard a lot from each one of the candidates tonight. However, I am the only candidate up here with a robust plan for the future and a vision for the future. For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans for a future and plans for a hope. That's Jeremiah 29:11. With this momentum, ladies and gentlemen, that we have, we cannot afford to stand still for the next 4 years. With this momentum that we have, we cannot afford to go backwards the next 4 years. So on Tuesday, October the 4th, I'm asking you for your vote to re-elect Ken Featherstone, Mayor of Indianola, again. Thank you.
Wow.
You know, that vote is for you. You're gonna pray about your vote. You're gonna think about everything that's going on in your city. You're gonna think about everything that has been in the past to now. That vote is for you. All I'm asking you is to pay attention, open your eyes to see the truth in what's going on in your city hall. See the truth in what's going on. See the difference between what the politician is telling you and what's real. When you go and make your vote, you make your vote for the right choice. Thank you.
Well, I won't say I take offense, but I'm not a politician. I'm a small town retailer, who wants to get things done for Indianola. I would like to think that things are moving forward. I'm the eternal optimist. But I think in this room, we'd all say things aren't moving forward. Things aren't positive. As we've seen, things have deteriorated over the last 3 to 4 years. I'm not going to say it's all due to the current mayor. I would say part of it falls on the shoulders of the board that he had to work with, which is the same board that I had to battle with. Not that they were all bad, but as a team, they didn't seem to want to work together. I feel like with this new board and new guidance from an experienced, well-knowledgeable business person, we can make strides that have not been seen in the last 4 years. I understand the business of running city government. They just approved a budget that is at least $500,000 short. They are spending $500,000 more than they're bringing in. You tell me that's a good way to run a city business. The last year's budget, which just will end October 1, they budgeted a $400,000 shortfall. We can't afford to go many more years spending $400,000 and $500,000 more than we're bringing in. We will be broke at one point or another. So we have to look at the longevity of being able to fix streets, to be able to fix infrastructure. Because even if there were grants, they all require matching funds. If we don't have cash in the bank, we can't get those grants. So many of them, especially like CDBG grants, they require a matching of at least 20%. You got a better chance of getting it if you have 50%. We got to save our money so we can put it in the right place. So I'm asking for your vote October the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.